So here I am, folks, in Cardiff. Probably the Grangetown area of Cardiff. I used to live, actually, not too far from here, about 200 yards down the road when I first moved to Wales in about 1999, a long, long time ago. Why have I come back to Cardiff? Well, there is a place here which apparently is selling the best ramen in the whole of the UK. Forget your Wagamamas and all that nonsense. This is the place. And do you know who says that? Uncle Roger. And he knows his Asian food, doesn't he? This place is Matsudai Ramen. We're on Clare Road here, not far down the road from a pub I used to drink in called the Cornwall. Brings back some memories being in this place, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm in the mood for some ramen. We'll see what else they've got. I've got Mrs. Greeno with me on the camera, who tells me she doesn't really like ramen. So we're gonna have to find something else on the menu there, aren't we? Come on, let's get inside, folks. In and seated. Fair amount of background music going on. Hopefully I can sort of dumb that down a little bit in the video. The menu just comes on a little bit of paper here. Fairly simple. Like 5 different sort of snack plates, 4 little grill things, but they're all sort of starter kind of portions there. 1, 2, 3, 4 larger bowls of food. Some ramen on there, but there's also like a noodly chicken dish that I think is probably inspired by a place up in town there, Caroline Street, known as Chippy Lane to the locals, and this is the Chippy Lane Maze Soba on here, so we'll find out if that's what it's all about. Not sure what everything on the menu is, but I'm looking forward to trying it. Let's get my order in. Yeah, we're ready to order everything, I think, at the same time, so can we please take, yeah, a beer. I'll take the Asahi, please, kind of, yeah. And just one, please, and the Yuzu soda as well, please. And then food-wise, can we please have the mini pork chashudon? Thank you. The sweet corn from the grill. Spicy miso. And I like the sound of the Chippy Lane Maze Soba. That's presumably named after Chippy Lane in town, is it? Right, okay. Been there once or twice over the years, so. So, the order is in. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be getting. Regular viewers of the channel will know sort of Japanese food is not my area of speciality, so I don't know what all the ingredients are. Sometimes I get things wrong. You've seen me eating sushi and picking up the ginger that apparently you're supposed to use as a palate cleanser and all this sort of stuff. So we learn as we go along, don't we, folks? Anyway, I am looking forward to this because I am starving hungry and the smells around here are great. So, folks, got myself a beer here, the Asahi. Now, if you like your beer, maybe we should pop back to Greeno Towers and have a little word from today's video sponsors, who are Beer 52. How does a free case of 8 spectacular beers sound? Our good friends at Beer 52 are giving viewers of this channel the chance to try 8 never-before-tasted exclusive beers from UK brewing legends, Northern Monk. Hang on, the beer's from Northern Monk. I thought I had to be the... I got a costume and everything. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll drop the accent, but I'm keeping the costume on. Quite like it. Go to www.beer52.com/Greeno and just cover the $5.95 postage to get your beers now. So these aren't the kind of beers you find in your normal supermarket. This is Northern Monk's Patrons Project, a collaboration between Northern Monk and artists, athletes and creatives across the north of England to make loads of different and interesting beers. And this is the one I'm going to be trying, the Northern Monk Black Sands Mocha Porter. Now it's a dark beer. Don't worry if you don't like dark beers though. When you're ordering, you can select a light case and you won't get any dark beers in amongst it. So take a look at that. Let's give this a try. Oh, lovely, dark, rich, flavours of coffee and chocolate in there. That is delicious. You can also learn all about the brewery and the Northern Monk patrons in the award-winning Ferment magazine that comes with your delivery. And don't forget, also with your delivery, you get a couple of tasty snacks. Even if, after all of that, you're still unsatisfied, you can simply pause or cancel at any time. So don't forget, that's www.beer52.com/Greeno to claim your free case of 8 exclusive beers now. That's beer52.com/Greeno. I'm off to enjoy this beer in my drinking habit. Let's head back up to Cardiff and see what Greeno's up to up there. So folks, first dish has arrived. This is the mini pork chashu don. £6 for this, which I think looks pretty reasonable. Look at the amount of pork you've got on the top of there. It's a nice sliced up spring onion and all rice underneath. Now, the test is to use the chopsticks. If you've seen me use chopsticks before, you'll know I'm not the best with them. Now right now, we have no other cutlery options, so we're gonna have to try and get on with it. Not bad, Greeno. That has got, oh, brilliant, thank you very much. Well, I'm starting on this. The second dish has arrived, which is the corn ribs. It's got a little bit of kind of kombu seasoning on. I wonder how these are going to compare to the ones up at FUIYOH that I've had before and I love. Anyway, back to focusing on this. The pork, you can see on the outside of it there. See the amount of charring there is? That has brought such a brilliant kind of barbecue flavour. It's pork belly, so you've got a little bit of fat in there as well. That's helping to keep everything moist. I tell you what, that was a little flavour bomb. Now, I mean, I'm going to have to get some other cutlery at this point, because I just tried to pick up some rice, and I can't do it with chopsticks. Now that pork is knockout. Absolutely delicious. Oh, here we go, look. So I'm going to shovel it out. That kind of works, doesn't it? Some of the juice and that kind of caramelisation on the outside of the pork is getting down into that rice and flavouring it up. So it's not just quite as white and fluffy as you might expect, because obviously some of that pork is dripping into it, but that is great. Let's move on to these little pork ribs. Pork ribs? Sweet corn ribs, or whatever they call them these days. And this, we are not using chopsticks on. Again, look at the charring on the outside of that. That's all going to be flavour. Loads of seasoning on there. What does it say we've got on here? So we've got a miso butter and some nori. And here we go. So the sweet corn isn't quite as soft as the one at FUIYOH, because they've barbecued it up quite so much. So it's almost a little tough. And that butter on there, and that seasoning, an absolute flavour explosion. Incredible savoury flavour, with a tiny little bit of sweetness in at the end, and obviously you then get the sweetness from the corn. A really clever flavour. Mrs. Greeno's looking at me like she wants to eat something. Do you think I should let her, or do you think I'm going to keep it all to myself? Yeah, she's raising her eyebrows at me. There we go, we'll share. So, main dishes have arrived. Just a couple of minor little criticisms, I guess, so far. We finished the starters, and the bowls sat on the table for about 10, 12 minutes probably after we'd finished. And the waiting staff were walking past backwards and forwards and didn't clear them. It was only cleared when the second of these bowls turned up on the table. The guy came over and actually delivered the first bowl and still didn't take away the empty stuff until he'd come over and just delivered the second one. Yeah. Another little thing to note, on this ramen bowl here, can you see there is a chip in the bowl? So, I mean, it's a minor thing, I guess, isn't it? But I know a lot of people don't like that for hygiene reasons. Anyway, what have we got here? This is the Chippy Lane chicken kind of curry dish. Inspired by Caroline Street, known as Chippy Lane locally, where you get chicken curry off the bone and chips of an evening, late at night. And over here, this is the spicy miso. You can see there's a bit more belly pork in there, some other pork. You got the egg, you got all sorts in there. All sorts. Where am I going to start? You know what, I'm going to start with this one first. So I'll move this one out of the way. There we go. And we're going to come in for this. Now what I will say about this, really colourful, really appealing looking. You've got all the noodles and stuff underneath. If I move some of this stuff out of the way, you can see there's the chicken in there, there's the noodles underneath. And all these noodles are actually made on site. They don't bring them in at all. They've got a sort of machine that they're using out the back to make fresh noodles for every service. I like that. Now, you'll notice I have got a fork in my hand, but we're going to try with the chopsticks. We did kind of have to go with the pork to get through the rest of that rice. And of course, we got the little sort of soup spoon thing here to deal with all the gubbins in the bottom, the sort of stock, the broth. But what I want to do here is try and eat some of it with chopsticks. Now, whether that's the right thing to do, again, I don't know. Half the time I'm told I should be using chopsticks for stuff. The rest of the time, I'm told not to. Do you know what? And the way I'm dealing with that, we're forgetting that right away. We're going to treat it like pasta. Spin it up on the fork a little bit. And in it goes. That has got so much flavour. Beautiful hit of curry spices. That's the first thing that gets you. Almost a sweet curry spice. The noodles are just cooked. Okay, so they've still got a little bit of bite in the middle. The flavour they got into that sauce is incredible. Like a really good Chinese chippy kind of curry sauce. Shredded chicken thigh in there as well. And plenty of it. And then we got all the different bits of veggies and stuff in there, which are adding crunch, texture. And the good thing about it is you've got some pickles sort of stuff in there as well. So it's almost giving you that chippy experience. A little bit of vinegar in there too. It's a really, really delicious and clever combination. Now, obviously this isn't something that's authentic Japanese food. It's a twist on things with a nod to the heritage of kind of late night Cardiff street food. But it's bloody delicious. This is the spicy miso. This has got all sorts in it. I'm not even going to pretend to know exactly what's in here. But we have got pork belly, we've got pork shoulder, we've got an egg, I recognise that, and a lovely sort of chilli broth here, and more of those noodles underneath. So I'm going to try this broth first. Broth kind of makes a ramen, doesn't it? That's so good. It's silky, it's rich, it's got that chili spice to it, but it's almost, I don't know the right word for it, almost dense as a liquid goes, if you know what I mean. Kind of almost like a chili pork gravy. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say. It's not like a normal soup, it's kind of, it coats your whole mouth. That is a knockout. That's outstanding. I'm going to have to try some of the noodles in there. I'm sure they're just as good as the noodles in the other dish. This is a little bit sloppier though. A little bit more liquid, so maybe that cooks the noodle through a bit more. It doesn't. But what it's doing is it's clinging to the outside of the noodle because it is that little bit thicker than a normal broth would be. So it's making it feel silky. And the flavour, again, is absolutely banging. Uncle Roger, I know what you're talking about. mean, I've eaten in Wagamama a lot of times, okay? Mrs. Greeno loves it, the kids love it. I always moan because I say it's, it's just an expensive stir fry. This is how it should be done. He says going into a bowl of ramen with a knife and fork. But how are you supposed to eat this pork otherwise? I mean, the flavours in here are so much more intense. And of course, it's all being made here on site. There we go, look at that. Great colour to the pork. Great flavour again. Wow, wow, wow. We really enjoyed those starters. They weren't without fault. I think that the sweet corn was possibly a little overcooked. The rice and pork dish was phenomenal. But these two are the stars, I would say. Absolutely delicious. I can eat this for breakfast, lunch or dinner. No problem at all. Right. If I don't get too cold, me and Mrs. Greeno are going to crack on and eat these. Finish me beer. Get the bill and we'll talk about it outside. But what would Uncle Roger say? Hi-ya! So I've come outside, folks, after paying the bill. I'm very, very satisfied with that lunch. Really am. The flavours of those dishes were superb. All four other things we had. From that little pork starter, the sweet corn, and those two bowls, the Chippy Lane kind of thing, and the spicy miso. All absolutely delicious, flavour-wise. And were they all perfect? I'd say the sweet corn was a little dry, a little bit over. So you need to kind of, I don't know, maybe they soak it in water first, or just sort of simmer it a little bit so that it absorbs some water before they put it on the grill. And that would keep it nice and juicy, just like the one in FUIYOH is. The bowl that one of the soups was in was chipped. Again, just a little touch that ought to be picked up on. And one or two little service elements there. I'm not saying the service was bad by any stretch of the imagination, don't get me wrong. And it is quite a casual dining experience. But the only check back we got through the whole meal was when we were about 2/3 of the way through the mains. And as I mentioned earlier, the starter plates, once we'd finished them, sat on the table for over 10 minutes with staff walking backwards and forwards past our table. And they were only cleared after the mains were delivered. So just little touches like that they could sharpen up on just to make the diner experience that little bit better. But the food I can't really criticise at all, apart from the sweet corn being a little dry. What was the bill? So in total, I've paid £71.61. And that does include a 10% optional service charge. And as I said, although there were one or two little things in their service I'd have liked sharpened up a touch, nothing that was going to stop me paying the service charge on there. I'd have left a tip to the same sort of level anyway. I've got no problem with paying that. What are those sort of things costing Wagamama? And they're not anywhere near as good, let me tell you. Uncle Roger, you're right. Brits, well, maybe not all Brits because it's a long way to come. But if you're ever in this part of the world, that's where you need to be going to eat. Not Wagamama. I can't even speak properly. Not Wagamama. You've got to come to Matsudai Ramen. And as Uncle Roger would say, hi-ya! I think that's what he says anyway. My, what is he, Singaporean? Singaporean accent is not the best. Right, I've got to come up with a score. Taking the price into account, taking the quality into account, and those little bits and bobs, I'm going to say a 4.5 out of 5. I think that's fair. 4.5 out of 5. It's good though. Good though. Does it get Greeno's green light? Absolutely does. No problem there at all. If you're ever in this part of the world, I thoroughly recommend you come and try Matsudai Ramen out. Delicious. If I'm back in Cardiff again, I will definitely be coming back. So where am I off to next? Good question. I'm up in Welsh Wales. I wonder if we'll find anything else up here. I'll see you next time, folks. Bye for now.